Hi. For this week, focusing in on our health and our character training, I would like to read you a book and just kind of have us focus in on a few little details that we can kind of put into our lives and put into the way that we interact and treat others. This book is called Fiona, Flamingo. On a beautiful sunny afternoon where life was simply the best, a little flamingo named Fiona hatched from her egg in a nest. Little Fiona grew up making lots of friends. They played flamingo games from day's start to day's end. As the time passed, the birds all became stronger. They also got pinker, and their feathers grew longer. They turned pinker and pinker with each feather they grew. They got bigger and bigger until some of them flew. Fiona remained featherless until it happened one night. She woke up with feathers, but they were bright white. The other flamingos gasped and stared at her in shock. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and wildly began to squawk. Her friends looked at the white feathers, not knowing what to think. "You're not the right color. Flamingos are supposed to be pink." With everyone shouting, Fiona began to get scared. She looked at her feathers, and then she looked at theirs. "You don't have to be so loud, and please don't make a scene." That's when Fiona started shaking, and her feathers turned to green. When her friends saw the change, they squawked louder and meaner. Fiona got more anxious, and her feathers grew greener. Her friends looked at the green feathers, not knowing what to think. "Stop being so silly, Fiona. Flamingos are supposed to be pink." "Oh no," said Fiona. "This is worse than just bad." But her friends kept on squawking, and then Fiona got mad. "You're making me angry," she jumped up and furiously said. That's when Fiona started yelling, and her feathers turned to red. The flock became silent, hoping things would get better. But Fiona got madder, and her feathers grew redder. Her friends looked at the red feathers, not knowing what to think. "Don't you think you should calm down now? Flamingos are supposed to be pink." They all rushed to hug her, and now Fiona felt bad. Her anger was fading, but now she felt sad. She whimpered and cried, "I'm all mixed up in hue." That's when Fiona started sobbing, and her feathers turned to blue. The flock watched from afar, and their concerns grew truer. But Fiona just got sadder, and her feathers grew bluer. Her friends looked at the blue feathers, not knowing what to think. "Just what kind of bird are you? Flamingos are supposed to be pink." No one could cheer her up, so instead they stayed away. That's when Fiona got lonely, and her feathers turned to gray. A young chick floated up with a gaze so pure and true. I hope my feathers change colors when I'm as big as you. Fiona flashed a happy smile, and her feathers erupted in color. It was a surprise to everyone. No feather was like any other. Pink, white, and green, red, blue, and gray. She was every single color now, and that's the way she'd stay. The entire flock gathered around, and Fiona gave a big wink. I guess we've all learned a lesson here. Flamingos don't have to be pink. I think as we see this story go along, you notice how things are a little bit different, right? So some of us kind of change and grow and do some things a little bit sooner or later than others, and it's okay. And I think as we also start to see just how some people, the way that we speak to one another, how that affects us emotionally, and how we might react or respond to some of those things that people say or do. And her crowd of friends are also somewhat trying to remind her or tell her that she has to be a certain way in order to fit in or in order to be a part of what it is that they have going on. And that's all she's ever wanted. She just wants to be accepted, and she wants to be a part of their friend group. And just because she may look a little bit different or act a little bit different or be interested in something different, then they're not making that okay. And it really should be. So I think that it's a really good lesson to just kind of think about the things that we say to people, the expectations that we may have for them to like what we like or to do what we do. And sometimes I think we forget that we're all different and we all like to do certain things, or maybe we have a different idea on how to do something instead of just the normal, and just kind of going through the flow, and we lose some of our creativity when we expect someone to just continue to just do the thing the way we always have. So I think it's a really good story to kind of reflect on that. And I love how even just this little reminder of how someone is always watching, and you always can be a role model for other people, just by being you. So please do not lose who you are as you grow and as you learn different things, because there's always someone who's interested in what it is that you do and what it is that you have to offer the rest of us. And so I think that if we can all kind of remember that we don't all have to fit into this one single mold, and we can respect each other's differences and still be able to get along and do the best that we can every single day. Thank you for enjoying this story with me.